For decades, a small group of countries called the shots on the world stage, shaping global policies and influencing international decisions. These were mostly Western nations, led by the United States, which held significant sway over global affairs. They had strong militaries and lots of money, which allowed them to project power and maintain control. They formed alliances like NATO to protect their interests and ensure mutual security. NATO stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a military alliance that has played a crucial role in global security. It was created after World War II to stop the Soviet Union from spreading its influence, marking the beginning of the Cold War era. The US and its allies in Europe promised to defend each other if attacked, creating a powerful deterrent against potential aggressors. This system worked for a while, maintaining a balance of power and ensuring relative stability. The West set the rules for trade, finance, and international relations, establishing a framework that benefited their interests. But things are changing. The world is no longer dominated by a few powerful countries. New players are emerging on the global stage. These new players are challenging the old order, seeking to reshape the global power dynamics. These countries are located mainly in the Southern Hemisphere, where economic and political influence is growing. They are known as the Global South, a term that encompasses a diverse group of nations with rising ambitions and capabilities. The NATO was formed in 1949, in the aftermath of World War II. It was the peak of the Cold War, a time of intense geopolitical tension. The world was divided into two camps, capitalist and communist, each vying for global influence. NATO was the West's military alliance against the Soviet Union and its allies, a bulwark against the spread of communism. After the Cold War ended in 1991, NATO didn't disappear. Instead, it expanded its reach. More countries from Eastern Europe joined, seeking security and alignment with Western ideals. NATO also got involved in conflicts outside of Europe, like in Afghanistan and Libya, showcasing its global reach. This expansion has been controversial, sparking debates and discussions. Some argue that NATO is no longer necessary in a post-Cold War world. Others say it is still important for global security, acting as a stabilizing force. But one thing is clear. NATO's role has changed significantly since the Cold War. The question now is, what is NATO's purpose in the 21st century? How does it adapt to new realities? Is it still relevant in a world with new threats and challenges, such as cyber warfare, terrorism, and rising authoritarianism? The Global South is a term used to describe developing countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. These countries were once colonies of European powers. They were often exploited for their resources. But now, the Global South is on the rise. Their economies are growing rapidly. They have large and young populations, and they are starting to assert themselves on the world stage. Countries like China, India, Brazil, and South Africa are becoming major players in global politics and economics. They are challenging the dominance of the West. This shift in power has major implications for the future of international relations. China is the most dramatic example of the Global South's rise, showcasing an unprecedented transformation over the past few decades. It has the world's second-largest economy, a testament to its rapid industrialization and economic reforms. It is a major military power with one of the largest and most advanced armed forces in the world, and it is increasingly assertive in its foreign policy, seeking to expand its influence on the global stage. China is investing heavily in its military, focusing on modernizing its capabilities and technology. It is building new warships, missiles, and aircraft, aiming to enhance its strategic reach and power projection. It is also expanding its influence in the South China Sea, much to the concern of its neighbors and the United States, who view these actions with increasing alarm. China's economic clout is also growing as it becomes a central player in global trade and finance. It is the world's largest trading nation with a vast network of trade routes and partnerships. It is investing billions of dollars in infrastructure projects around the world through its Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to create a modern Silk Road. China's rise has reshaped the global balance of power, challenging the traditional dominance of Western nations. It is now a major competitor to the United States, leading to a new era of geopolitical rivalry and competition for global influence. Section 5, India, the elephant in the global room. India is another rising power in the global south. It has the world's largest population and a rapidly growing economy. India is also a nuclear power with a strong military. India is playing an increasingly important role in global affairs. It is a member of the G20 group of leading economies. It is also a major contributor to UN peacekeeping operations. India is pursuing its own strategic interests. It is strengthening ties with countries like Russia and Japan. It is also competing with China for influence in the Indian Ocean region. India's rise is adding to the complexity of the multipolar world. Section 6. BRICS. Challenging the Western order. BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These 5 emerging economies have formed a loose alliance to challenge the dominance of the West. BRICS countries have been critical of the existing global financial institutions, such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, which they say are dominated by Western countries. They have established their own development bank, the New Development Bank, as an alternative. BRICS countries are also cooperating in areas such as trade, investment, and security. They hold annual summits to discuss issues of common concern. The emergence of BRICS is a sign of the shifting global power dynamics. Section 7. Belt and Road, China's global network. The Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, is a massive infrastructure project launched by China. It aims to connect China to Asia, Europe, Africa, and beyond through a network of roads, railways, ports, and pipelines. China has pledged trillions of dollars in investments for the BRI. It sees the initiative as a way to boost its economy, expand its influence, and reshape the global order. The BRI has been met with both enthusiasm and skepticism. Some countries welcome the investments and the potential for economic growth. Others are wary of China's intentions and the possibility of debt traps. The BRI is a prime example of China's growing global ambitions. Section 8. A multipolar world, the balance shifts. The world is no longer unipolar, with the United States as the sole superpower. It is becoming multipolar, with several centers of power emerging. The rise of the global south, particularly China and India, is reshaping the global balance of power. These countries have their own interests and ambitious goals. They are no longer content to follow the lead of the West. This multipolar world is more complex and unpredictable. It requires new approaches to diplomacy and international relations. The old rules of the game are no longer applicable in this new era. Section 9. Navigating the New World Order, Cooperation or Conflict. The rise of the global south and the shift to a multipolar world present both opportunities and challenges. There's potential for greater cooperation on global issues such as climate change, poverty, and pandemics, but there is also a risk of increased competition and conflict. The relationship between the West and the global South will be crucial in shaping the future of international relations. Will they be able to find common ground and work together, or will they drift further apart? The choices made today will have far-reaching consequences. Section 10. The future of power, a new Cold War or shared prosperity. The world is at a crossroads. A new one is taking shape, but it is not yet clear what this new order will look like. Some observers believe that the world is heading towards a new Cold War, this time between the United States and China. Others are more optimistic, believing that cooperation is still possible. The future of power will depend on the choices made by leaders in both the West and the global South. Will they choose confrontation or cooperation? Will they prioritize their own narrow interests or the common good? The fate of the world hangs in the balance.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.